blood on the pavement, a little girl crying in the dark, and a single father bleeding, fading, who had no reason to risk his life for a stranger. By sunrise, the roar of motorcycles filled his street. The infamous Hells Angels had come, and his life would never be the same. Daniel Hayes, a 38-year-old single father, had just closed the diner where he worked late shifts. His hands were stained with grease and coffee grounds, his back aching from hours on his feet. As he walked toward his old pickup truck, he noticed two men cornering a young girl by the alley. Their voices were sharp, filled with threats. The girl's jacket had a biker patch sewn across the back, but her eyes were wide with fear. Daniel felt his chest tighten. He had a daughter to raise, but something in that girl's trembling voice dragged him closer. The girl, no older than 16, pressed her back against the wall. "Your daddy's colors won't save you tonight," one of them sneered. Daniel wasn't a fighter anymore. He had left that behind when his daughter was born. But promises are fragile things when innocence is in danger. He stepped into the alley. "Leave the girl alone, or you'll answer to me." The taller man laughed. "Look at this hero. Go home, old man." Daniel stood his ground, thinking of his daughter Emily, sleeping safely at home. The smaller thug lunged first. "Run!" Daniel shouted to the girl. She hesitated. "Now!" Daniel barked. She darted toward the street, but the bigger man grabbed Daniel. The fight was brutal. Then came the flash of steel. A gun glinted under the street light. The deafening crack split the night. Burning pain tore through his shoulder. He staggered but refused to fall. The men cursed and bolted. The girl knelt beside him, trembling. "Don't close your eyes," she pleaded. "Please, you can't die." Daniel fought against the darkness. All he could whisper was, "Go be safe." Paramedics rushed in. The girl pressed something into his hand, a biker ring, heavy and cold. Then the world went black. Morning came with hospital antiseptic. Daniel opened his eyes to white walls, his shoulders strapped and stitched. Outside his window came a distant rumble, growing louder. The sound of motorcycles filled the morning air. A line of Harley-Davidsons rolled into the lot. At the front, a man with a long gray beard and leather vest cut the engine. The patch on his back was unmistakable. Hells Angels. Boots thundered down the corridor. The leader stepped inside, his gaze sharp. He placed the biker ring onto the table. "You saved my daughter." The girl from last night stepped out from behind the bikers. "Dad, he's the one." The leader's name was Ray Maddox. Ray's men took turns sitting outside Daniel's hospital room. Emily visited every afternoon. At first, she was frightened of the bikers, but they softened around her, offering candy bars and awkward smiles. Late one night, Ray came alone. "You remind me of the man I used to be," he said. "Before the cuts, before the fights, I was a father who'd do anything to keep his little girl safe. Somewhere along the road, I forgot that until last night." Daniel saw the pain behind the man's eyes. Two fathers, bound by the same truth. Love for their children. When Daniel was discharged, motorcycles lined the street. The bikers unloaded groceries, carried in firewood, and fixed the broken fence Daniel had been too poor to repair. Daniel felt overwhelmed. Men society called dangerous were painting his world with kindness. Emily began drawing pictures of motorcycles in her school notebooks, telling her teacher proudly, "My daddy has friends who are like superheroes." One evening at the diner, Daniel overheard regulars muttering, "Once they get their hooks in, you're never free." When Ray walked in later, Daniel admitted his worry. Ray leaned back. "You don't owe me a damn thing. You already paid in blood. We're here because you showed us what family means. That's not debt. That's respect." Weeks passed. Daniel's shoulder healed, though scars remained. Emily grew bolder. When other kids teased her about gangsters, she stood tall and said, "They're my friends. They saved my daddy." Yet Daniel wrestled with unease. One night, a black SUV slowed beside them. A man's voice hissed, "Tell Maddox his time's coming." Emily clung to Daniel's arm, terrified. Daniel called Ray. Within minutes, dozens of bikers surrounded the house. Ray placed a heavy hand on his shoulder. "As long as you've got us, no one lays a finger on your family." The roar of engines that night wasn't noise. It was a vow. Days turned into weeks without another incident. Emily painted rainbows, laughed at cartoons, and asked when the motorcycle uncles were coming over again. For the first time in years, Daniel wasn't just surviving. He was living. Ray visited that evening with his daughter. They ate dinner around Daniel's worn wooden table, laughter filling the cracks of a home once too quiet. For a fleeting moment, Daniel felt what he thought he'd lost forever, a sense of belonging. One night, Ray confided over coffee, "You've got heart. Our world could use men like you. You ever thought about riding with us?" The offer hit Daniel like a thunderclap.